Let's face it, folks, the gap between the haves and the have-nots is about as subtle as a screaming toddler in a library. It's glaringly obvious and impossible to ignore. It's loud, it's obnoxious, and it's getting worse. Every day, the divide grows wider and the voices of those left behind grow louder. We're talking about a system where CEOs make hundreds of times more than their employees, while those same employees struggle to afford rent and ramen. It's a stark contrast that paints a grim picture of our economic landscape. This isn't just about numbers, it's about people. Real people with real lives, dreams and aspirations. People who work hard every day, yet find themselves trapped in a cycle of poverty. It's about families struggling to put food on the table while billionaires launch themselves into space. The juxtaposition is jarring, highlighting the extreme disparities in our society. It's about a system that seems rigged from the start, where the deck is stacked against the average Joe. The game of life feels more like a game of Monopoly, where only a few hold all the cards. Something is fundamentally broken when a tiny percentage of the population controls the vast majority of wealth. This concentration of wealth in the hands of a few is not just an economic issue, it's a moral one. It's time to call out this economic injustice for what it is, a giant, flashing neon sign that screams system failure. The system is failing the majority while benefiting a select few. We need to talk about it, and more importantly, we need to do something about it. Conversations need to turn into actions. We need policies that address these disparities, support for those in need, and a collective effort to create a fairer, more just society. It's not just about recognizing the problem, it's about being part of the solution. Together we can bridge the gap and build a future where everyone has a fair shot at success. Power. It's a word that carries weight, a concept that has shaped civilizations and toppled empires. It's a funny thing, isn't it? We often think of power as something grand and visible, but it's also subtle and pervasive. Throughout history, it's worn many hats. From the crowns of kings to the helmets of warriors, power has always found a way to manifest itself. We've seen it in the hands of kings and queens, emperors and dictators. These figures ruled with an iron fist, their power visible and often brutal. Today, it's morphed into something a little less obvious, a little more insidious. The face of power has changed, but its essence remains the same. Sure, we ditched the whole monarchy thing. Well, most of us did. But power didn't just disappear. It evolved, adapting to the new world order. It simply found new hosts, corporations, and the politicians they influence. In boardrooms and behind closed doors, deals are made that shape our lives. These days, it's not about conquering lands, it's about conquering markets. The battleground has shifted from fields to financial districts. It's about lobbying for laws that benefit the few at the expense of the many. The struggle for power continues, but the tactics have changed. The players may have changed, but the game remains the same. Those in power make the rules, and those rules just happen to keep them in power. It's a game of strategy where the stakes are high and the consequences far-reaching. It's a self-perpetuating cycle. And breaking free requires understanding how this system operates. Knowledge is power, and only by educating ourselves can we hope to challenge the status quo. The evolution of power is a story still being written, and we all have a role to play in its next chapter. Let's talk taxes, shall we? Taxes are the backbone of any functioning society, funding everything from infrastructure to education. But have you ever wondered why the burden seems to fall disproportionately on the middle and lower classes? Because nothing says fair and balanced like a system where the wealthy pay a lower effective tax rate than their secretaries. This isn't just a fluke, it's a feature of a system designed to favor those with the means to exploit it. We're talking about loopholes big enough to drive a fleet of yachts through, all perfectly legal, of course. These loopholes are often hidden in the fine print of tax codes, accessible only to those who can afford high-priced accountants and lawyers. Think about it, when corporations get massive tax breaks while public schools crumble, who's really benefiting? It's certainly not the average taxpayer. These tax breaks allow corporations to hoard wealth, often at the expense of public services that desperately need funding. When billionaires pay less in taxes than their housekeepers, something's clearly amiss. This disparity isn't just a number on a chart. It translates to real-world consequences like underfunded schools and inadequate healthcare. The system isn't broken. It's working exactly as designed to protect and enrich those at the top. This design is no accident. It's the result of decades of lobbying and political influence by the wealthy. The truth is, the rules of the game are written by those who already hold all the cards. These rules are crafted in boardrooms and legislative halls, far removed from the everyday struggles of ordinary people. Until we change the players, or at least force them to play fair, the outcome will always be the same. It's up to us to demand a fairer system, one that works for everyone, not just the wealthy few. Only then can we hope to see real change. Ever wonder what it's like to live in a world of limitless possibilities? Well, for the ultra-wealthy, it's not a fantasy, it's Tuesday. We're talking private jets, sprawling estates, and enough offshore accounts to make a pirate blush. But here's the kicker. This lifestyle isn't just about indulging in the finer things, it's about insulation. It's about creating a buffer so thick between themselves and the rest of the world that consequences become a distant rumor. When you're living in a bubble of privilege, it's easy to forget about the struggles of everyday people. But let's be clear, this isn't about envy, it's about fairness. It's about acknowledging that the playing field is far from level, and it's time to start leveling it out. Section 5, above the law? The rich and their get-out-of-jail-free cards. We've all heard the phrase, justice is blind. But let's be honest, folks, sometimes justice peaks, and when it does, it seems to have a soft spot for those with deep pockets and even deeper connections. From white-collar criminals getting a slap on the wrist to corporations dodging accountability for their actions, the message is clear. Money talks. And sometimes, it even gets you off the hook. This two-tiered system of justice erodes trust and breeds cynicism. It's a harsh reminder that we're not all playing by the same rules. When the wealthy can break the law and face minimal consequences, it sends a dangerous message about who really holds the power in our society. Section 6, breaking free. Your journey to financial independence starts now. Okay, so we've established that the system is rigged. Now what? Do we just accept our fate as cogs in the machine, destined to be exploited by the powers that be? Heck no, it's time to take control, to break free from the shackles of financial dependence. This isn't about getting rich quick. It's about building a life of security and freedom on your own terms. It starts with a shift in mindset. Stop accepting the status quo. Reject the notion that you're powerless to change your circumstances. You are not helpless. You have the power to take control of your financial future. Section 7. Knowledge is power mastering money management and smart investing. The first step to financial freedom, financial literacy. It's time to ditch the fear and confusion surrounding money and get educated. Understand how money works, how to manage it effectively, and how to make it work for you. Learn about budgeting, saving, and investing. Explore different investment strategies, from stocks and bonds to real estate and entrepreneurship. The key is to diversify your income streams and create a solid financial foundation. Remember, knowledge is power. The more you know about managing your money, the less power the system has over you. Section 8. Ditch the rat race. Embrace entrepreneurship and passive income. Who says you have to be stuck in the 9-to-5 grind forever? The digital age has opened up a world of possibilities for those willing to think outside the cubicle. Entrepreneurship isn't just for the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world. Whether it's starting an online business, freelancing your skills, or investing in rental properties, there are countless ways to create a life of financial freedom and flexibility. The goal is to build multiple streams of passive income money that works for you, even while you sleep. Imagine waking up every morning knowing that your money is making you more money without you having to lift a finger. That's the power of passive income. Section 9. Take charge, rewrite your story, your financial destiny awaits. The path to financial independence won't be easy. It requires discipline, hard work, and a willingness to challenge the status quo, but the rewards are more than worth it. This is about more than just money. It's about reclaiming your power, your freedom, and your future. It's about breaking free from the system that keeps so many trapped in a cycle of debt and dependence. So what are you waiting for? Start educating yourself, exploring your options, and taking action. Your financial destiny awaits. Go out there and grab it by the horns.